Like I told all of you anime onlys, some crazy things were about to happen. And look at this episode. Some crazy shit did happen. And that Kayano scene, the reveals, to how this episode was done. Way better than the manga, definitely. I will go on a limb here to say way better than the manga. Because there's one reason that makes this episode better than the manga. Not because it's animated, but not because it has great music. I mean, those are some really good reasons. But there is one thing I really loved about this episode that stood out to me, and anime onlys would not have understood because you haven't probably read the manga to see the difference. But there was something different about this episode, a little bit different the way it was orchestrated, and I loved how the anime added it in. When you see the scenes when Kayano reveals her tentacles in the back of her neck, and they're coming out to attack Koro-sensei, when you see the flashbacks, the constant flashbacks showing the second blade, how she's been, acting and stuff, and all this type of stuff, all this little pieces of foreshadowing, that right there, I love the way that was done. It added more, confirmation that this has been planned since the beginning. This just did not come out of nowhere. Because there's many times when you're reading a series, and you have it to where, a power-up or something comes out of nowhere, and you're like, what the fuck? Why didn't this character use this, since this episode? Or why didn't this character use this since, episode 1, when they used this episode, power in episode 60? Why the fuck didn't they, when they've had it all along? And, I mean, there's many people that would look at it like this, and myself included. I mean, if it didn't have any, foreshadowing or any explanation, I would also be doing that too. But with the beginning of the episode, it kind of lets us know and shows us the foreshadowing that this has been, foreshadowed for a very long time. It makes me happy because majority of this episode, if you actually take the time to look at it, majority of this episode is actually spent on confirming that this has been built up for a very long time. For instance, when it comes to the acting, to how, Kayano and her connection to her sister, to how she used, Nagisa as murderous intent, for instance, to hide her identity and how much murderous intent she has towards Koro-sensei, and then also with the water thing, how she didn't want to swim, she was a bad swimmer, because as we know what happens to Koro-sensei when he's in the water. So overall, when we get to see these different scenes, there's been so much foreshadowing to this very point, and majority of this episode was letting us know that it has been built up to this point. So the mangaka, when writing the manga before this was ever animated, had it all planned out since the beginning with Kayano and how to use her as a character. So very good stuff there that really made me happy with this episode, and I'm glad all that stuff was added in when it came to this episode. So very good job on the studio that worked on this anime. Very good job. Very good job on the staff and the production team of this episode. So, let's talk about the beef. So many Chibits, anime onlys, are probably freaking out right now, like, holy shit, Kayano, she has fucking tentacles, she's going in, and she gonna fucking die, she's beating the shit out of Koro-sensei. And I gotta say, you're hyped right now. I gotta say, I was pretty damn hyped. When I read this in the manga, I was freaking hyped the hell up. And I'm hyped up right now because the scenes in this episode, animated with the music, oh god, anime onlys, you are so fucking lucky. That music, oh shit. When you see Kayano and you see the fire on her fucking tentacles pop up and shit, and you hear that music in the background, and you just see the ring of fire pop up, God, I love that soundtrack. Oh my god, that soundtrack is badass. So yes, this episode was fucking epic. It did a very good job of adapting the manga, but also it adapted it in a way that was actually even better than the manga. So very good job. Very, very, very good job. So, let's talk about this episode, and let's, mention some things that, some anime onlys need to really take a moment to notice. For one, Kayano's real name. She's been faking her name the entire time. She's an actor, and she's been putting up this fake act the entire time, messing around with E-Class, but also she's been hiding her real name, which is a link to the original teacher of E-Class, which Koro-sensei supposedly killed. And if you remember at the beginning of the series' first episode, I remember talking about it a long time ago in my actual first impressions of Assassination Classroom. We get to see someone, a girl, on the ground dying, and you see Koro-sensei holding this person, and that's how the first episode of Assassination Classroom started off. So if you take a moment to think about that, and when you look at this scene here, it opens your eyes up to like, holy shit, what is going on here? So Koro-sensei murdered this teacher, but also Koro-sensei murdered the sister, the older sister to Kayano. So that's pretty fucked up shit right there. So Koro-sensei needs to explain himself, which leads into the epic moment of this episode. We come to find out once everything is said and done. For instance, when Kayano is back in the class and everything is fine, if everything does become fine, Koro-sensei is going to reveal his past. And this right here, I know is probably going to be one of the key central points that many are going to be hyped up about after finishing this episode, because Koro-sensei actually said he was going to talk about his past. And this is some pretty hyped up shit, because ever since the beginning of, Assassination Classroom, since the first chapter, first episode, many of us have been thinking about, what is Koro-sensei? Where did he come from? How did he get this power? How can he be this fast? What's his link to the, government? Why did he blow up the moon? I mean, there's been just so many questions, and we're finally probably going to get those very soon. And when you see Koro-sensei finally say, yes, I will finally talk about my past, I think it's time, that was a very crucial moment of this episode, so I cannot wait to see that. It's going to be fucking epic. Oh my god. I can't wait to see some of these scenes freaking animated. Anime onlys, you're in for a treat. That's all I'm just going to say. Just get yourself ready for next week's episode. It's going to be epic, but also the upcoming episodes. From here on out, actually, from this point on of Assassination Classroom, prepare for a roller coaster ride that's not going to stop. Not even joking. Prepare for an epic roller coaster ride for the rest of the series, because we're getting into that endgame. So, Assassination Classroom. Very good episode this week. Animation, to art, to music, to the adaptation. Excellent. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.